2023 Urbandale City Council meeting. I will call the meeting to order and ask Nicole to take roll call, please.
Blake.
Here.
Arbor Montgomery.
Here.
Kroll. Here. Bernie.
Here.
Obrecht.
Here.
Please stand as you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Urbandale is a national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is to approve the agenda. Ask for a motion in a second.
So moved.
Motion by Kroll. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. Okay, that passes. Item 3, presentations. We have 5 very special presentations tonight. I'm going to start with the 2023 All Urbandale Reads proclamation. And Nicholas, do you want me to read this first, or do you want me to recognize you first to say something?
You can read it first.
All right, all right. So here's the big reveal. So.
Yes. Been waiting for this.
Whereas libraries and communities across America are celebrating National Library Week of April 23rd to 29th to 2023, and whereas the City of Urbandale and the Urbandale Public Library recognize the importance of forging connections with local residents, and whereas one book, one community programs like All Urbandale Reads have unified cities across the United States, and whereas the Urbandale Public Library has selected The Immortal Life of Henrietta by Rebecca Skloot, a compelling story about science, bioethics, and a woman who contributed to numerous medical breakthroughs as the 2023 All Urbandale Reads book. And whereas the culmination of the 2023 All Urbandale Reads program will feature community book discussions, educational programs, and special events designed to bring residents together through literacy and strengthen bonds within our community. Now therefore, I, Robert Andeweg, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, on behalf of the Urbandale City Council and the Urbandale Public Library, do hereby promote the All Urbandale Reads program and the reading of this excellent book to all Urbandale residents. And we have signed that and we presented that, and I want to recognize our Library Director, Nicholas Jennings, to come forward and give some remarks. So Nicholas.
All right, thank you, Mayor and members of the council. Really excited to be here tonight for the announcement of the All Urbandale Reads title. Really excited for this initiative. It's gotten really good response from the community, and I think this is going to be a great book and a fantastic way to unify the community over this next year. So as it was stated in the proclamation, we're going to be having National Library Week next week at the library. We've got our mega book sale happening then, so feel free to stop by and check that out. We've also got our Food for Fines initiative. So if you have overdue fines, donate your food items, and all of those proceeds are going to be donated to the Urbandale Food Pantry. And if you don't have a card to stop by, we'll get you set up with a card, or if your card's expired, we'll get that renewed for you. And I'll turn it over briefly to Stacy Stanton, and she's our Programming and Outreach Manager.
Good evening. So I just wanted to thank our committee that helped select this title, and also the Urbandale Public Library Foundation for sponsoring. That will help us with the programs and purchasing the books. So as the proclamation mentioned, we will have a couple of community discussions later this summer and fall, and then we'll also have some programming that we're really excited to bring to the community and bring some more discussion about the book. And we also want to thank Councilperson Carberry Montgomery for being on our next committee to help us select the next title. So.
I didn't realize that they were already prepping for next year. So I think that's amazing.
We have to read a lot of books.
It'll take me that long. So I'm looking forward to it though.
All right, wonderful.
And there might be an opportunity, if there's any more volunteers for council for future All Urbandale Reads, we might be soliciting some. So thank you very much. That's all we have for tonight. And thanks again for having us here.
All right, thank you. Thanks for promoting us, and thanks to the many library board members and foundation members that were here tonight as well. So thank you for your support. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to the next proclamation is the 2023 Earth Day proclamation. Whereas Earth Day was first celebrated in the United States on April 22, 1970, to raise awareness about the wide range of environmental issues and to inspire people to take personal action to address them. And whereas the 54th Earth Day celebration will occur on Friday, April 21, 2023, and whereas the Urbandale Parks and Recreation Department, the Friends of the Parks Committee, and the Parks Advocacy Coalition have joined together to sponsor Earth Day activities at Dunlop Park and Arboretum and the Barrett-Bozen Park and Natural Playscape Park. And whereas in recognition of 2023 Earth Day, the Urbandale's Earth Day cleanup event will be held on Friday, April 21, 2023 from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Now therefore, I, Robert Andeweg, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, on behalf of the Urbandale City Council, the Parks and Rec Department, and the entire community, do hereby support the 2023 Earth Day cleanup event. So, I'm going to recognize that. And we will be having the cleanup is held, Scott, Jan, you want to elaborate a little bit on that, or how people can participate in that?
You want to read the next one, and then I'll do both of it. I'll cover all of it.
Got it. Got it. So we'll read the Arbor Day proclamation. Whereas the City Council approved ordinance number 2002-15 on August 20, 2002, which created the Urbandale Tree Board as an advisory board to the Parks and Recreation Commission. And whereas trees conserve soil and water, clean the air, and provide comfort in their beauty, color, and shade, and make Urbandale a more pleasant place to live and work. And whereas through the dedicated support of MidAmerican Energy, Trees Please Grant, and the Tree Board, the City of Urbandale is recognized as a Tree City USA community. And whereas the Urbandale Tree Board sponsors an annual community tree event to plant trees on public property during the National Arbor Day to ensure a greener, healthier tomorrow. And whereas in recognition of 2023 Arbor Day, the Urbandale Tree Board will sponsor the following tree planting of 18 trees to be planted in Gulfview and Cross Creek Park area in Urbandale. Now therefore, I, Robert Andeweg, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, on behalf of the City Council, the Urbandale Tree Board, and the entire community, do hereby support Urbandale's 2023 Arbor Day tree planting at Gulfview and Cross Creek Park in Urbandale. And with that, then I'll recognize our Assistant Parks and Rec Director, Scott Holt, to give us some more details. So, Scott.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Scott Hoke, Assistant Director for Parks and Recreation. I'm going to combine a little bit of the items here since it's all a little bit related as it deals with some of the great things we have going on during the month of April. Celebrating both Earth Day and Arbor Day. We have several cleanups that are happening at several parks and tree plantings as well. For those that are interested still in helping, people are welcome to come down to the Gabus Memorial Tree Park at 1 o'clock on Friday. We'll be working with a group that's already committed, but we do have room for other volunteers to come down and help that day. And we also have some events going on out at Barrett-Bozen as well during that same time frame. And then we have a few other things that are happening that day, including some cleanup down at Dunlap, which is a different time with another group. And we've already done a few groups, some cleanups through Colby Woods along the creek. And then we have another one coming up with an individual group that's going to be doing some cleaning in the Gulfview Cross Creek area. Again, listed below are several of the groups that are going to be involved. And I do want to invite the council out on Friday at around 12:30 to Barrett-Bozen for those that can make it. We'll be working with the Walnut Hills 4th grade class, planting 10 trees out at Barrett-Bozen, doing some Earth Day related crafts, as well as doing just a general park cleanup at that time. I'm in charge of getting trees there. AJ is in charge of the weather. So whatever happens from there, that is on him. We have several sources that have helped support some of these events this spring. MidAmerican Energy, and I apologize, there's a typo in there, but MidAmerican Energy, the Trees Please grant, we've used for several years, and it is a great matching grant. That is what we're using to fund the trees in Gulfview Cross Creek, and we actually already have those planted because we wanted them planted before Arbor Day, and it's going to start raining. So we have those 18 trees already in, so we're excited about that, and we appreciate the support every year from MidAmerica as they come in. And when I'm done, I'll yield to the mic to them if they have any great desire to come up. We also got a great grant from the Iowa DNR for funding for 44 trees at 5 different park locations, and I'll list those here in a minute. This is part of the Derecho EAB grant program. So that was a $9,000 grant that we got, which is really helpful. Our ash trees are being slowly taken away, and it's probably not going to be as slow as it was. We are starting to see a lot of ash trees going really quickly. We have removed over 200 ash trees from the park and public areas in the last year, and we'll see a great number more coming this summer, unfortunately. So we are trying to replant. However, we do have sort of a pace that we're allowed to replant, so it will take a while for us to catch up with some of the losses that we've seen. Still green. Oh, was that too far away? Okay, thank you. Homeacres is also planting the trees, which is always helpful for us. And then we just have to worry about watering them. And then, of course, we do several memorial trees throughout the year. I think we have 5 planned for this spring, so there'll be some great plantings as well on memorial trees. Here's just a list of the trees that we're planting this upcoming spring. So we're actually planting through just the spring. We have 71 trees that are going in the ground between the different funding sources, which is a great number, which is about our max. We do have to water most of these trees, especially during June, July, August. And we always water trees for about 2 years. So we have the trees that we planted this spring, plus all the trees we planted last year, plus we'll probably plant some this fall as well too. So that keeps us busy because we also have to water, especially when it's dry, we water all the beds and all of those items throughout the city. So keeps us very busy getting the watering done. And then last year we started a program in adding sapling trees. We planted some really heading from Memorial Tree Park heading south. We planted a lot of sapling trees. We're gonna do the same thing and head north this time from Memorial Tree Park. Again, this is just to introduce more desirable species into our timber areas. So we'll do it here through the Colby Woods and Walker Johnson area, and then we're gonna expand that program. We plant a lot of trees, and we know they all don't survive, but we are, again, we overplant just knowing that they don't all survive, and then we hope we get more desirable trees as we come forward, because a lot of what we have in our timber areas are really undesirable. So those are what we have going on. And again, I want to thank both members of MidAmerica that came today, and we have members of the tree board here as well too. So we are excited to have both of them. And I don't know if any of the members wish to share any great words or not, but they are sure welcome to, if that's okay with the mayor.
Absolutely. We got a blank check, so they should be able to see.
We have a great check, right?
I know. We didn't sign it though. So I think we're safe.
Oh, Derek can take care of that too.
I'm Holly Conaway, work for MidAmerican. So congratulations. We gave the city of Urbandale $2,700 to plant trees through our Trees Please program. It seems like we give you guys money every year. It's great to see the trees in the community. I live in Urbandale, so it makes me proud to see the trees go up. And then I'll have to ask Scott for pictures because it sounds like the trees were already planted. So we'll have to get some pictures of that so we can get on our Facebook feed, on our Instagram feed for MidAmerican. So we look forward to continue to work with you guys in the community. If you guys need anything, just let us know and let me know how much you write that check for.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Holly. We do truly appreciate our partnership with MidAmerican, and thank you for MidAmerican's presence within our city. And we obviously have a very significant presence within our city, and thank you for your continued contributions for this. So we do truly appreciate it. So, and we do also appreciate the contribution from the DNR as well. I don't think we have anybody from the DNR here tonight, but we appreciate their contribution as well. So thank you, everyone. All right, some great special presentations tonight. Very busy spring. Make sure you take advantage of all these things that we talked about here tonight. So we will move on then to Citizens Forum. This is the opportunity to address the council on something that's not a part of tonight's regular agenda. Would anyone like to address the council this time? Okay, seeing none, then I'll move on. Item 5 then is the adoption of the minutes. First is the minutes from the April 4, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery.
Second.
Second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. That passes. And then from the April 11 lunch and learn.
So moved.
Second.
by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 6, the consent agenda. We have 9 items for approval. Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. Don't be shy, people.
I just wanted to comment, I think this is the first time you've included the chicken permit count, is that, or was that on there before? Okay, well, I really appreciated seeing that on there.
All right, that passes. We'll move on to item 7, public hearings. First is item 7.1, which is a public hearing and consideration of the bids for the fire department trench rescue training facility. This was continued from the April 4, 2023 regular meeting, and we had opened that public hearing up at that time. So I'll call for any comments, if anyone would like to provide any comments at this time. Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing? Oh, excuse me, we're going to continue that. I apologize. So is there a motion to continue this to the May 2 meeting?
So moved.
Motion by Blake, second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 7.2 is public hearing and consideration of bids for the 2023 sanitary sewer lining program. The public notice for this was published in the March 31, 2023 Des Moines Register. And is there any objections to that notice is published?
There were none.
Ask for a motion second to open this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. And to introduce this is our Director of Engineering and Public Works, John Larson. John?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This is our bid tabulation for 2023 sanitary sewer lining program. So it was on last Wednesday, April 12th, we received 5 bids for the project. We're recommending the low bid from Busy Sewer Incorporated in the amount of $391,250. Their bid was a little over $16,000 or 4% more than our engineer's estimate. So with the project, we'll be lining 8,438 feet. There's 6,555 feet will be within the city of Urbandale and 1,883 feet within Windsor Heights. We also wanted to note that the 2 sewer districts do fully fund this project, and it's anticipated to be completed by the end of this year. Just to kind of show you where we're at, up here on the top of the screen is Meredith Drive, and then coming through here is 86th Street. So everything is south and east of 86th and Meredith. And then just kind of a little bit about what it does. So what they do is they go in and take the old lines, they put a new line in there, and once that's set up inside that pipe, it's almost as good as a new pipe. So it's a really cost-effective way to upgrade our older pipes. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right.
Hey, with the lining program, do they ever identify areas that are beyond what the lining program can do, if there's dips or just?
Correct. We have a separate program called our spot repair program, and that is where we do dig up areas if we need to, if there's a separation or something. So yep, that's just a separate project that we do. There's usually 2 to 3 locations a year we do.
And with the kind of putting the line within the line, does that impact capacity at all or anything?
Actually, sometimes it helps a little bit because it's a nice smooth lining. So again, it kind of helps there, and it's a really, really thin layer.
Okay.
So.
All right. Any other questions? We are in public hearing on this item. Would anyone like to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by McBurney. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. We have Resolutions for consideration.
I'll move resolution 074-2023.
A motion by McBurney. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 075-2023.
Motion by McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. Okay, that passes.
And make a motion to approve resolution 076-2023.
Motion by McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. And that passes. All right, thanks. That concludes that item. Item 8 is item 8.1 to establish a public hearing for the community entrance signs, Phase 3. John, will answer any questions on this if there are.
Move resolution 081-2023.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Carberry Montgomery. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9, first is item 9.1 is to consider the Urban Loop Commerce Park Plat 1 final plat at 128th Street and Plum Drive. And to introduce this is our Assistant Community Development Director, Christy Bales. Christy?
If it's okay, I'd like to present, do one presentation. The next item on there involves the same property, so
Okay,
you'll just hear me talk once.
all right, sounds good.
For this final plat and site plan, we are at the northeast corner of Meredith Drive, which is here along the south, and 128th Street. Specifically, here on the east side of 128th Street. The final plat in front of you this evening will create 2 buildable lots. Lot 1 will be here, Lot 2 will be here, and also includes a creation of 2 outlots, which will be here. The outlot on the left will be stormwater detention. The outlet on the right will be incorporated into development further to the south once that moves forward. You've seen this a few times. In the late last year, we did an amendment to the PUD for what we've been referring to as the cross dock facility. So the other part, the next item on your agenda is the site plan for the development of that first lot, which is Lot 1. So thinking of what I just showed you, they will construct Plum Drive, the extension that will connect into 128th Street is part of their plan. You can see the first lot they plan to develop is the cross dock facility shown here. The parcel is 26 acres in size. The building itself is over 450,000 square feet. Part of the PUD master plan involved an additional buffer along 128th Street. You may recall that that was a condition of them putting the trailer parking backing up to 128th Street. So this is kind of a concept plan they presented to you, just showing it for reference when they did the PUD master plan. So they're building in the back. The doors, the dock doors will face both east and west on that building, and then a double row of coniferous trees along 128th Street with a more sizable berm than what we would normally require. Staff is recommending approval of the 2 cases before you this evening. The final plat has the standard language related to some payments that will need to be made, some changes to the plat, fairly minor in nature, some easement review that we also did as part of their first submittal. And then the site plan that's also in front of you, staff is recommending approval of the site plan subject to the changes that are noted in the staff report itself. John Hansen is here from Snyder and Associates. Should you have any questions for him, I'll take any questions you may have first.
All right, thank you, Christy. Any questions for Christy on this?
I've got a question about the berm. I think that's a good idea, but it seems like it's, exceptionally high, as you said. Is that going to look weird, like, as you're coming up 128th to have, like, on the right side here, there's plantings are at street level, and then all of a sudden you've got, like, a really high, and then it'll go back down again as you go into Grimes. I mean, look weird is very subjective, I understand.
It will look different, but with the trailer parking backing up to that, we wanted it to hopefully look not like trailer parking.
Right.
So the extra standard. The other thing they did on the backside of that berm was they tried to sink the trailer parking a little bit so that they went kind of lower into the berm. So it will look different, but that was intentional as we considered, you know, when we first had a discussion, it's like, well, should the dock doors be on 128th or on Meredith? And as we considered that, you know, this is our first cross dock facility, really. So usually you would say put the docks on the backside away from the streets, but that wasn't possible. So we asked that they orient the building towards Meredith. So as you're driving east-west on Meredith, it still looks like a, you know, kind of warehouse building with office space, but the dock doors are more screened.
Can you go back to the plat of map? So,
This one or the
well,
aerial?
no, the one you just had, or the overhead, I guess. So that's going to be detention to the south.
Detention will be here, yes.
So, okay.
And they, the site planning code does require screening along, it requires landscaping to break up the utilitarian look of large detention ponds. So they do have some plantings along 128th Street, as does the development to the west of 128th Street. We asked that they put some plantings along 128th Street to break up that.
I guess my question, recommendation would be maybe to have some consistency in the planting. So even though, you know, like from the area in front of the, and I'm sure people smarter than me do this, but so it doesn't look like there's some consistency coming from the south, and then you hit up that big berm, you know, some similar trees. I'm sure they'll be that way anyway, but to me, it just seems like there'll be this crazy big berm, kind of like the one over by Casey's, just to the south here.
Oh, okay.
That's really big, yeah.
Oh. Will it be that big?
Uh,
Not that you
That's
have
what I was
to-
going to ask. Is it going to be,
Between the residential and the Casey's?
Yeah.
That berm?
Yeah,
Or is it?
that's the berm I'm talking about.
or is this going to be comparable to the berm we have on the east side of 128th,
Yeah,
south of Meredith?
No, this will be bigger.
the one I was thinking was just
Yeah.
there
So,
north of Westbrook Drive.
Yep.
so I'll keep adding to the confusion. Are we causing a traffic hazard by having such a big berm? Blind spot?
No, they, one second. Don't look yet. Let me zoom in on this. That berm comes down. There will be a new entrance north of the Plum Drive construction. So that berm comes down. It doesn't go like right up to the edge of the pavement. You can see these are the grading lines that go back down on that return on the berm. So it isn't completely solid. And then you can see, you know, it doesn't ring around like this. It comes down. This is actually stormwater that'll go across. So it does come back down at the intersection in their new entrance off of 128th Street.
I just wanted to look good if we're gonna have a really big berm, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, so typically a PUD master plan requires a berm about, and it usually says an average of 3.5 feet in height. This says 8. So it will look different. That is very true. Our typical requirement for parking when it's facing the street is 3.5 or 3 feet, depending on how it's written. So yeah, it will look different, but that was intentional given the building orientation.
No,
So
I
we're
get that.
talking a berm as tall as the door frame?
Yep.
That cause any issues with flooding? I'm just thinking if we are
Yeah,
dipping
yeah,
down
I was
for
just
the
saying.
doors.
Yeah, I'm just not sure plants survive on top of that in the winter, but
I think probably a good example of this is the berm. This, I don't know which berm you were referencing near the Casey's. So this is the Casey's, just a little bit farther south on 128th Street, between the residential townhomes to the west, the single-family detached to the south. It's, I think this is the berm you were talking about. Those plantings, you know, the evergreens are doing well. They did have to come back and replant some stuff on the north side of the fence, but we thought plantings was better than a fence on top of the berm. Or a short berm and a tall fence and along 128 didn't seem to fit either. So we were going for the more natural look in that berm. The other part of this is typically evergreens are required to be 5 foot at time of planting. When we amended the PUD, we said it needed to start at 6. So it's a taller berm with a taller tree to start, but that was to screen a tractor trailer that's about 14 feet high.
Okay, I will add a slight nuance. So on the other side, if that's ever developed, are we going to ask for some level of uniformity so we don't have one big berm on one, but like I'm thinking like maybe it's a little corridor in there that we have trees on either side and make it look a little nice, but I'm just yeah, west of the road.
Was here. The answer is no.
Okay.
The requirement on the other side of the street is a 3.5 foot berm, but because parts of this larger parcel, the parking is 3 to 5 feet lower than the street level, there's no way to get a berm up high enough off the street and then down high enough. So there will not be a reciprocal berm on the other side.
And I don't think we need another 8 foot one. I was just thinking some like a companion berm on the other side. Some symmetry to that lane of some sort, but I'm done talking about this.
And you said on the detention pond side of it that they will have something going on there so it doesn't look like it's just a barren area in the middle of a pretty busy thoroughfare.
Yeah, hang on just a second and I will skip ahead here. So this is the overall landscape plan for the development, so you can see the trees that they're proposing. It's on a different document. Yeah, there are trees planned, but sorry, this is the site plan, and I do not have the plantings for the detention basin. Hang on a second.
I think as long as they're not just gonna leave it like we currently see it from the Google Earth image, right? So where it's not just a flat barren piece of land between multiple buildings. It just looks a little bit better.
Hang on just a second, Larry, I think I can get there.
You just never know what we're gonna get excited about.
Yeah.
So this, Larry, is a detention pond. So this is on the south side of Plum, and this is a detention pond where there will not be a berm, but they will have plantings that go around that new pond to break up that look.
Awesome.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So how tall will the trees eventually get? We'll get back to this. I mean, 6 foot planting, but evergreens I think are 20 feet tall, certain varieties. So now all of a sudden we're at 28 feet. I don't know how tall our blue cigarette is out there, but we're getting tall.
There's a better name for it than that.
That is irrelevant.
Blue cigarette.
I thought that's what he said.
I've never heard it called that.
I do not have, I was looking at the planting schedule here. I do not have eventual height of each of these. Sorry.
So I will just say again, like if if we keep it at that side, I will just say we highly recommend on the other side doing something that at least tries in some way to make it look some uniformity. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm stuck up on that, but I'm just trying to figure out. Because I think it will look different.
It will look different. The other side of the street also, it'll be the front side of the building. So their tractor trailer docks are on the west side. So it will be a solid building face and their tractor trailers will be on the west side. So not towards the street,
it kind of
either
defeats the purpose.
New Plum that they'll construct, nor to 128th Street.
Okay.
We may not actually want to have the symmetry because it may seem like you're almost like in a tunnel too.
The other thing is on the west side of the street, the left side, the landscaping berm, the minimum is a standard 20 feet. When this PUD was amended, the landscaping setback was increased to 75. So the left side, the west side does not have room for an 8-foot. They don't even have room for an 8-foot buffer, topo aside.
All right, I'm done with my
Okay.
reciprocal verb.
R&R own all this? Or,
The west side of the street, Lioness owns the east right side of the street. So this plat is Lioness, this is the KC Life side of the street, and then R&R kept ownership of properties on the west side of the street.
I guess if you guys could just maybe communicate to them, our desire to maybe see them ultimately use some of the same materials or to get a cohesive look in that area, that'd be good for me.
Okay.
And I apologize for starting us off on this tangent.
We knew warehouses were so fun.
All right, any further comments or discussion?
I'll move approval of Resolution 077-2023.
Okay, motion by Carberry Montgomery, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That passes, and then item 9.2, then ask for a motion on that one.
Approval of Council Letter 7404.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. That passes, all right. Moving on then, thank you, Christie. Moving on to item 10, which is regular agenda items. First is item 10.1, the Fire Chief Recruitment Services Agreement. AJ?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. On your agenda tonight is the request for approval of the agreement with GovHR for the Fire Chief Recruitment Services. As I previously informed council that Chief Holt will be retiring on August 4th after 25 years of service. We've known about this and we've been planning to look at the best way to solicit and to recruit candidates for interviews that best fit the role of our fire department and what our needs are currently into the future. Civil service rules require us to open this position for competitive examination, meaning both internal and external candidates will be considered. We publish an RFP to engage the consultant for the use of their network and professionals, facilitate the interview process, and develop a skill-based assessment center for the candidates. We received 6 proposals. The staff interviewed 3 vendors, and we recommend GovHR based on their public safety recruitment experience. Currently, Clive is using them now to fill their fire chief position, and they have filled or are actively searching for fire chief positions in other Iowa cities. The total cost will roughly be $36,000 between fiscal year 23 and 24, and we have planned for this in our budget. GovHR anticipates having a candidate identified within 4 months, so there may be a short period of time that we need to appoint an interim chief, depending upon the process. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have about the process or the company that I can address for you.
Are we still down an assistant chief?
Yes, we are, and we've decided to hold off on that and wait for the new chief to make that appointment.
Okay.
I believe Clive just announced their chief the other night at their council meeting.
knew that they were very close, so I think it was an internal candidate,
Yes.
if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
I met him the other night, so.
So, be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions?
Move approval of Council Letter 7397.
Motion by Kroll. Second. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. Okay, that passes. Item 10.2 is consider the 2023 Series A General Obligation Capital Loan Note Sale. AJ?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. At your last council meeting, you took action to approve the sale of a little over $12 million in general obligation notes, Series 2023A. After that process of accepting the bids and moving forward with the issuance of those bonds, process is that by resolution, you would establish you would appoint a paying agent, a note registrar, and a transfer agent, approving the paying agent and note registrar and transfer agent for the agreement and authorizing the execution of such agreement for the 2023 GO bonds, and that would be with UMB Bank of West Des Moines, Iowa. So again, procedurally, this is, again, what we do after a bond sale. So very much in line with the procedures that we have. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have on that particular resolution.
All right. Motions?
Move resolution 084-2023.
Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Move resolution 085-2023.
Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 10.3 is consider the Iowa Department of Transportation funding agreement for the 100th Street Adaptive Signal Coordination. John would answer any questions on this if there are.
Move approval of Resolution 083-2023.
Motion by Kroll. Second. Second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 10.4 is consider the 2080 agreement for the joint fiber optic agreement with the Urbandale Community School District. Again, John will answer any questions on this if there are.
Move approval of Resolution 078-2023.
Motion by Kroll. Second. Second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 10.5 is consider the bids for the 2023 traffic signal improvements. John?
Okay, thank you. Yep, this is our bid tabulations for our traffic signal improvement project. Last Wednesday, April 12th, we received 2 bids for the project. We're recommending the low bid from Van Monen Electric in the amount of $81,048. Their bid was approximately $13,000 or 14% less than our estimate. And with the project, we'll be installing battery backup systems at 3 locations. We'll be installing the pedestrian heads and push buttons at Merle Hay Road and Sutton Place. This will be in conjunction with the sidewalk project that was already approved, that basically we'll get the sidewalks, the ramps, and the push buttons, which will allow this to become a DART bus stop. And then we're also going to modify 46 of our traffic signal cabinets to modify the wiring so that when a system does kick into the battery backup, it'll give us an alert back at the office. Right now, things are not wired properly to give us those notices, so we'll get those changed. And then we're expecting the project to be completed by November 3rd. So I guess with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right, thanks, John. Questions?
Motion to approve resolution 079-2023.
Motion by McBurney. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 10.6 is consider the bids for the North Karen Acres Trail repairs. John?
Yep, so this is our bid tabulation for this year's repair program. So again, last Wednesday, April 12th, we received 6 bids on this project. We're recommending the low base bid from Howry Construction, the amount of $94,136.75. Their bid was approximately $20,000 or 18% less than our engineer's estimate. With the project, we'll remove the existing asphalt trail and replace it with an 8-foot wide, 5-inch thick concrete trail. It's in a length of approximately 1,400 feet. With this project, we did bid an alternate to do the same thing within Colby Woods Park. Unfortunately, the bids were higher than our budget, so we are not recommending to do the alternate at this time. We'll probably look to do that at a future date. And this has a completion date of September 22nd of this year. So to kind of show where we're at, up on the top of the screen here is Douglas Avenue. Here's 79th Street. So this is North Karen Acres Park down to Delwood. We'll replace that trail. And then just a little further to the south is the Colby Woods Parkway Trail that we are not looking to do at this time. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right. Questions for John? Is there a motion?
Move resolution 080-2023.
Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Up next is the one I've been waiting for all evening, item 10.7, the portable restroom services contract with Best Portable Toilets, Inc. Scott, hey, somebody has to have a question for Scott on this.
You know, sewer lighting's got much more volume, so.
I do have a question. And it's actually a procedural question.
Is it a crappy one or is it?
No, it's not. It could be a crappy one. Oh, my
Do
God.
that for this, not sewer lining.
No. No,
I didn't think of it as the sewer lining one.
and I can't remember this, but do we have a minimum expenditure amount that we have to bring before the council? Because this is 7,000, or is it here because it's 22,000? It's 3 years.
It's 3 year commitment, and it's,
Okay.
the dollar amount, if I remember correctly, is it anything over $20,000?
Okay, that's why I couldn't remember, because it was close, so I was just trying to remember.
The dollar amount's 25, but there are some possibilities if we go longer, if we need a replacement piece, and the total bid's at 22, so there is the possibility we could get to 25, and procedurally, we want to be safe, right? We don't want to do anything
Okay.
inappropriate, and finance made us, so that's why it's here.
Okay. I just was curious from a procedural, nothing about the content, so nonetheless. Okay.
All right.
Then I'll move approval 086-2023, or resolution 086-2023.
Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 10.8 is to consider the equipment rental for trucks for the spring cleanup. John, do you have anything further to add on this?
I'm just glad we're getting back to being able to rent the trucks as opposed to last year having to spread it out over the month. I think the excitement is palpable in the community. People get so excited,
Wow.
beyond Urbandale, so,
We're never going to cancel it ever again.
no. So I'm glad to see that we're back to our regularly scheduled programming on this.
Yep.
It is a motion. I will approve Council Levator 7409.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. And that passes. That takes us to the end of our regular agenda. Mayor and council items. Amy?
I'm curious, Scott, do we have the Tiny Trees program here in Urbandale? Okay, I was just curious. Otherwise, just thanks to staff for putting up with the changes and council for helping us move forward with strategic planning for health and human services.
All right,
Nothing else?
Larry?
You asked the only question I was gonna ask, because I got asked about tiny trees as well, so.
What are tiny trees?
Tiny
It's,
Trees program is a,
yeah, it's a program that other cities offer where you can, the city offers to give you a tree to plant in your yard.
it's little saplings.
Yeah, and there's usually like 3 to 5 varieties. I know the city of West Des Moines and city of Johnston both do it for sure, and
Or are they just a
Done it
pickup
here.
site for the state's program? Because the state has a program on that.
Could be.
could be.
I know I've picked up trees before at Dunlap but that was years ago, so
Yeah.
it was when you weren't probably here.
The state
so.
forestry up in Ames has a lot of trees that you can pick up too, so I don't know, maybe they're just a pickup site for that.
I'm not aware where they are through the state, but there are some out there. But we do the sapling program, and that's what we're trying to reestablish.
Yeah. Well, I know we have some folks that are interested in the community and seeing that program extended into Urbandale.
I think shouldn't be much of a cost, I wouldn't think. I would think we'd take a look at that, so.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, they are.
They are tiny.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the name.
Itty bitties.
That's the name, yeah.
Yeah.
It fits.
Scott, you got all the great questions tonight.
All right, thanks, Larry. Matt?
I actually don't have anything tonight.
Okay, Adam?
Just gonna say thanks for the tree plantings in the area. I found 12 of the 18 trees on a walk today, so they do look great. Though a coffee tree doesn't produce coffee, my understanding is though, right? Okay, so darn it. But it'll be great to see those fill in over time.
All right, Bridget?
I have nothing to say.
Whoa.
Let the
Marcus
record
Day.
reflect.
I just have a couple things, I guess, or at least one thing. Again, as you know, I sat through the emergency management or preparedness seminar on Saturday. And, it's one phase of doing this as far as being prepared. I've gone through the training before, and it was good to go through it again. It's something that maybe we wait till our next fire chief is here, but I'm thinking it'd be a good exercise for us to, it's been a while since we've done a tabletop disaster exercise, and I think that would probably be good, but it's probably also good to wait until our new chief is on board too as well, so. But I would encourage you, I'm gonna send out some links. There are a couple, you don't have to take all of the modules, but I think there are some for elected officials that would be highly appropriate to get familiarization as far as what our role is during an incident and how the NIMS and ICS work and how that whole chain of command works. So I will send that out. So with that, I don't have anything further.